Hello, I'm Catherine. Welcome back to my channel. So glad you stopped by today. This has been a long video for me to make, but it has actually been very revealing and interesting. So I basically went down the rabbit hole with all of the Bareminerals foundations. I was trying to figure out which one to try and I just couldn't figure it out. And so I decided I would try all 5 of their foundations and then come back to you and let you know what I thought of each one. So this took me actually a while to film. This is the end of it, and I am wearing the one that I prefer the best. So you can take some guesses as to what you think that might be when you see the other footage. I will tell you all of them in no particular order. I tried the Bareminerals Stick Foundation. I tried the Complexion Rescue Tinted Moisturizer. I tried the original powder foundation. I tried the BAREPRO foundation. And I tried the newest foundation in their line, which is kind of what started this whole journey for me, which was their original liquid mineral foundation. So it is kind of like this, but in a liquid form. So stay tuned. I'm gonna go through all 5 of these different foundations, and I'm going to tell you all about them in each segment, and then at the end I will come back and let you know my final thoughts. Today I'm going to be trying out the Bareminerals BAREPRO foundation. For all of these foundations, I'm going to be using the same primer to keep that the same, and this is the Bareminerals Prime Time Original Foundation. And it is more of a silicone base, so you don't need that much. I would say I do about a half a pump. I was using this one day and I did a full pump and it was way too much. But this is a pretty nice primer, and I'm just going to show you this time applying it, but the rest of the time I will already have this on. And again, this is the Bareminerals Prime Time Primer. Okay, so the Bareminerals BAREPRO, let me tell you a little bit about the Bareminerals BAREPRO. It has an SPF of 20. I am in the shade Flax 9.5. It is a full coverage foundation. It's supposed to last for 24 hours. There are 35 shades. It is naturally matte. It's a creamy liquid. It has good for skin ingredients. It is heat, humidity, and sweat resistant. And full price is $35, and you get the standard 1 fluid ounce, which is pretty standard for most foundations. Okay, so now that we know a little bit about it, let's apply it, and then we will see how it wears. I'm putting out 1 pump of the product. I'm going to go ahead and just put it around the face like I normally do. And I'm going to be using my Sigma F80 Flat Kabuki to apply it. I have worn this foundation before. I love the finish of it, as you'll see. It is, when they say naturally matte, I would agree with that. It is not overly matte. You hear the term soft matte a lot, but I do like naturally matte. I think that does sum this up. It looks very skin-like, but it is a natural and matte finish in that it's not too glowy or luminous. So this would be a good one if you don't like really dewy, luminous skin. This would probably be a good choice for you in their range. So I have used the entire pump. I'm going to bring you in so you can see a little bit better what the coverage is like on my skin. It's covered up sunspots well. It's evened out the skin very well, but it doesn't look heavy or cakey, which is really nice. I will give you a heads up. My issue with this foundation in the past has been that it is very drying after time. So as I check in, I'm going to show you Typically where I've had dryness is on my chin and on underneath my nose. So we will see if I have that issue today, and I will be checking in. I'm gonna come back in a little bit with my makeup on and let you see how it looks with the rest of my makeup on. Then I'll check in twice during the day. Okay, so I have the rest of my makeup on now, and we're going to be testing this BAREPRO from Bareminerals. I'll bring you in and you can see nice coverage and very nice finish. It feels nice on the face, doesn't feel cakey. Like I said, when I've worn this before, it got really dry. So we're gonna see if that happens. I will be checking in 2 more times today. Okay, so here's my check-in. My last check-in here for the Bareminerals BAREPRO, and I am pretty impressed with how this is worn. It is worn really well all day. And the one thing that I was concerned about is possible dryness on my chin and around my nose. And I don't have any dry, flaky stuff there. So I definitely didn't put too much product on, and I think that was part of it. But I'm really happy with the way this wore. And I think it looks still pretty nice. And we're at nighttime now, so I've been wearing this all day long. And really, really nice. So this was the first one. I'll be trying another Bareminerals today. Tomorrow. I'm going to be trying out the Bareminerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. Just to tell you a little bit about this, I'm in the shade Vanilla 02. This has an SPF of 30. There are 20 shades, which they call flexible shades. So I think if you're in between, one might be able to work. They kind of melt into your skin a little bit better. It has a radiant natural coverage. It is considered to be makeup, skincare, and SPF all in one. Sheer to medium coverage, and it gives you a dewy, healthy looking glow, and it retails for $33. So we're gonna try this one out today, and I'll be back to let you know what I think. But this is the packaging. So different from the BAREPRO, which was a glass bottle. This is very travel friendly. And I'm just gonna push a little bit out. I'll let you see what the texture of that is. And I'm gonna be using a brush, and I'm going to dot this around. I think I'm gonna have to get a little more, I don't know. This is a very different texture. It's a very moussey texture. And I'm just using this Real Techniques 204 brush to buff this into the skin. Very light texture to it, and it feels very hydrating and nice on the skin. It's not going to be the coverage. I'm going to actually get a little bit more. I don't think I really gave myself that much. I'm going to put that directly into the brush this time. Kind of go around some of the areas like my nose, sunspots, so forth. This is not going to give you huge coverage, but like the BAREPRO, but it is much more hydrating. And I'm going to pull you in so you can see the type of coverage. So you can still see my skin. It's very natural looking, but it has evened me out. And like I said, it's very, very comfortable feeling on the skin. I'm not a huge fan of tinted moisturizers in general, because I've always felt like if you're going to put foundation on, why not have it be a little bit more coverage? But this is a very, very nice feel, and I do like the feel of this. I'm going to go off camera, put my makeup on, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like with my makeup on. Okay, I am back with my makeup on. I'm going to bring you in so you can see. I don't have anything too crazy on today, kind of minimal makeup, which is actually perfect for more of a tinted moisturizer. But I think you can tell it's good coverage. You can still see my skin throughout. No cakiness. I don't see anything building up. Kind of evened me out, but nothing crazy. So I am liking this so far. The feel of it is great. I will be checking in again and letting you know what my thoughts are on this Complexion Rescue. All right, here is my check-in. I've been wearing this Complexion Rescue all day, and it's worn pretty well. You can see that it's definitely starting to kind of break down, but overall looks pretty nice. And definitely around the nose area here, I'm glad that there's not any flaking or peeling, which is what I sometimes have in the winter. So this was very hydrating. It wore really pretty well all day. I mean, again, it's a tinted moisturizer, so it didn't give a ton of coverage, but it was very comfortable, and I think did a pretty good job. Hello and welcome back. Today we are trying the Bareminerals Complexion Rescue Hydrating Foundation Stick, and I'll admit I'm a little scared. I'm not a fan of stick foundations. Typically when you have drier skin, they are not your friend, but we are going to do a full day wear test of this. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about it. It has an SPF of 25. It is a water-based liquid foundation in a stick. It gives medium coverage, convenient on-the-go format. It melts into the skin. It's supposed to give you all-day wear. It's supposed to be lightweight and not cakey. Have a radiant finish. You can use this as a foundation, a concealer, or a contour if you got a darker shade. And it is a perfect choice, they say, for dry skin. It is $33. So we tried yesterday this one, which I really did like. Now we're going to try this one. So what I'm going to do is kind of what I've seen other people do. I'll bring you in. I'm going to put this on my face, and of course I've already put on the primer. I'm going to kind of just mark up my face with some foundation. And then I'm using an e.l.f. I wanted to use a denser brush, so this is an angled buffing brush. And I'm just going to buff that in to the skin. We're going to start in the center of the face and see how far this takes us. Okay, so let me look at it in my close-up mirror. I mean, I will be honest with you, I am not seeing that much coverage. But over here on my sunspots, I'm not seeing anything. Let's go ahead and try and build that up a little bit over here and see if I can get that. I mean, I kind of blend it and then I feel like it just goes away. I don't know. Let me try it on this side and see. Maybe I'm rubbing too much instead of like pressing. Maybe I need to be pressing. But here we go again on this side. Let's see if I press, if that makes a difference. And that does make a little bit of difference. But I feel like that's going to make it look cakey, but maybe I should just trust the foundation. I felt like I had to use a lot of product to get to this point. I feel like I would go through this product really quickly, but I'm going to put a little bit more on my nose. I'm going to do that bouncing. It doesn't look cakey on my skin. It does feel tacky. Like, you know, this foundation felt like nothing on my skin. This one definitely, I can feel it on my skin. It feels a little bit, not tight, but it feels tacky, and it definitely feels like there's something on my skin. So I don't know. We'll have to play with this and we'll see how it wears all day and I'll let you know. But I've gotten a little bit of, I feel like I've gotten some coverage from it. I'm going to go ahead and put on the rest of my makeup and then I will be back and let you see that. And then I'll be back for later in the nighttime check. I am back with my makeup on and I will tell you, this kind of grew on me a little bit. It seemed to melt a little bit more into the skin. I'm not feeling that tackiness anymore. And my makeup went on really well. So I'll zoom you in so you can see up close, but I feel like this actually needs a little bit to settle into your skin before you really can see the coverage and see the finish. But I'm pretty pleased with this so far. We will see how it wears. But again, I'm glad that it's not feeling tacky or heavy. And like I said, the makeup went on incredibly well. So I will check in with you later about this Complexion foundation stick. Okay, so I'm back and let's see how this Complexion Rescue Foundation stick wore. I'm gonna bring you in so you can see. And actually, it wore pretty well. I've been kind of surprised so far by all of them. But it definitely, where it did wear off, a little on the nose, which is really typical, but it wore off very evenly. So nothing looks super patchy. And my makeup stayed on really well all day. And I don't see any flakiness or any dryness. I'll look in the close-up mirror. No, none. So I don't know. I really was not prepared to like this foundation at all, but it's really nice. And that initial tacky feeling went away. It melted into the skin and it really was smooth. So this is interesting. And I have normal to dry skin and I would not have thought that this would be even an option for me. So we move on. We have 2 more left and we'll see what happens. Okay, so now we're going to try out the original Bareminerals foundation. This is their mineral powder foundation. It is a loose powder foundation. I have the shade Fairly Medium 05. This has an SPF of 15. It comes in 30 different shades. It has 5 clean ingredients, and that's it. It has a mineral sunscreen built in, and you're supposed to use their kind of technique is this swirl, tap, and buff technique, which we're going to use. And it is a natural and not cakey finish. It is $32. This kind of stuff scares me because I have dry skin. I used this many, many years ago, but it has been a long time ago. And so we're going to try it again. So I'm going to bring you in so you can see. The only thing I have on my face, other than my sunscreen and the rest of my skincare, is the Primetime Original Foundation Primer, which I will use for every single one of their foundations. And I'm just going to take some of it out. It comes with a nice little, see if you can see, little sifter on the top. And you just put a little bit in the cap, like that. I'm going to be using my BK Beauty 105 brush. It's a little denser brush. And I'm going to swirl, tap, and then buff this into the skin. We're going to see what this does for us. So that was one go around. I'm not seeing a huge amount of coverage. Let me look in the up close. A little bit of airbrushing, but let's go put a little bit more in the cap. Swirl, tap. Let's do this side. Buff. This is a great brush for this, I will say that. Perfect. Now, I did see a big difference in this side, bigger than I did in this side. Maybe I didn't buff this as well into the skin. But that definitely evened out. That skin was kind of red. Put a little bit more in the cap, swirl, tap. We're going to do the forehead now. And more on the nose. Okay, so it's definitely evened out my skin. I'm not seeing, it's definitely evened it out. It's not looking cakey at all, but it's definitely not covering up anything either. I'll try one more time to see if I can get some sunspots to cover up. So this may be a foundation that you need to kind of, yeah, I'm not seeing any type of coverage on that really. I mean, it's maybe lightened it a touch, but it's not covering it, but it is definitely not cakey. It has taken the redness off of my nose and it's evened out my skin. How well this lasts, I mean, I don't know. It definitely feels like I have nothing on. I mean, it feels like I have nothing on, which is nice because I can see that it's done something. It's not cakey. And probably you could hit some of your spots with concealer to cover. So I don't know. It's definitely blended in well and it is not cakey or dry. All right, I am going to put on the rest of my makeup and I will come back and let you know my thoughts. Okay, I have my makeup on now and the makeup went on really, really well. I used all powder products because with a powder base, I feel like that's gonna be your best bet and the cream products could potentially take some of the base off. So I did use all powder products and I think that the effect is pretty nice. I will tell you that I was liking the finish and then I did apply just a very hydrating setting spray, this L'Oreal Lumi Glotion Shake and Glow, and I felt like that made a huge difference. So one of my recommendations will probably be to use a setting spray when you use this powder foundation because it really helped all of those products to kind of meld into my skin a lot better. And I could see a real difference when I use that spray. And I don't normally see a huge difference when I use the setting spray, but I really saw one with this. So I'm gonna test this out and I will come back in at the end of the day and let you know. But so far, it feels like nothing, which is nice. And I feel like it's given me decent coverage. I still can see my skin, still can see the sunspots. So the coverage is just light medium, but it's definitely given me a blended and balanced look. So I will be checking in later. Okay, so this is end of the day after having worn the Bareminerals Loose Powder Original Powder Foundation all day long. I'll bring you in. You know, it's done pretty well. It was a little dry around my nose. I definitely saw a little bit of dryness around my nose, but for the most part, it stayed intact. A little bit around my eyes has come off. But for the most part, and a little bit on my nose, but for the most part, it actually wore pretty well. It felt weightless all day. My thoughts are kind of mixed on it because I don't know. I felt like it wasn't drying on my skin. It didn't look cakey. When I look in the up close, I mean, my chin is a little dry. My chin is a little dry. Bring you in so you can see. There is some flaking around my chin and around my nose. but the rest of it looks pretty good. So interesting, I don't know. We have one last foundation that I'm going to be reviewing tomorrow, and spoiler alert, it is the newest foundation that they just released. So one more, and then we're gonna wrap this series up. So hope this has been informative, and again, pretty good. Today we're gonna be talking about the last Bareminerals foundation that I am going to test, and it is their very newest foundation. This is the Liquid Mineral Foundation. I have it in the shade Fairly Medium 05, which is the same shade that I have it in the loose powder foundation. So let me tell you a little bit about this one. It is brand new. There are 30 shades. It has an SPF of 20. It is inspired by the original powder foundation. It has minimal ingredients, just like the powder foundation. No silicone, parabens, talc, or oil. It has a light as air, medium coverage, a luminous finish, and a no makeup feel and look, and it sells for $35. Okay, so I'm gonna shake this up pretty well. It has a little turn cap here, and I'm gonna pump out like I normally do. Again, I have the same primer on my face that I've used for all of them. And I'm just gonna place this around on my face. This is a very lightweight feeling foundation. It feels liquidy, not moussey like the Complexion Rescue Tinted Moisturizer did, and not as thick as the BAREPRO. This is definitely a different feeling foundation, and it goes on differently too, I think. Let me bring you in a little bit so you can see as I'm putting this in on my skin. It is, it does build. And as you can see, it definitely has a luminous finish. It's very glowy, so if you don't like a glowy foundation, this would not be the one for you. Which of course is very different from the original powder foundation, which is very matte, I think. But I did one pump and I got very nice coverage. It's definitely medium coverage. It covered up my little sunspots pretty well. I was able to build it. It feels very nice on the skin. It doesn't feel tacky. It just kind of feels like nothing. It feels like you've almost put like a serum on your skin, which is nice. I'm gonna put on the rest of my makeup and then I'll come back and then we'll do a final check-in. And then I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on all 5 of these foundations. I am back with all of my makeup on, and it performed very nicely putting the makeup on. I did find that I needed a little bit. I used a little bit of this Ciate setting powder just because there was quite a bit of glow, and I felt like to put the powder products on, I needed a little bit more of a powder down. So I did do that, but everything else went on pretty well. I'll zoom you in. This is the coverage. Around the nose is where the problem area is, and the chin all in here. But so far, so good. Of course, I just put it on. But I will come back later and check in and show you after I've been wearing this makeup on. Okay, so I'm back. This is the full day wear of the new Bareminerals Original Liquid Mineral Foundation. And this has worn pretty well. All right, let me get my close-up mirror and check it out. There is no flaking anywhere. Does not look cakey. It's worn better, I think, than the powder foundation did, but pretty good. Let me bring you in. It definitely felt like nothing on my skin all day. I think it definitely came off on the nose, but that's pretty typical for, especially for kind of a more hydrating and luminous foundation. But overall, not bad. So that is all 5. So next I'm going to review all 5 that I've tried for these 5 days. and I am going to be wearing the foundation that I liked the best. Okay, so we've seen all 5. Do you have any idea what I'm wearing today? This happens to be probably my favorite. However, I will tell you that I see a place for all 5 of these in my makeup collection. Not that you need to go out and buy all 5 of these, but I will actually be using them, and I'm going to go through that here in a minute. My actual favorite, and a lot of this has to do with my own personal preference for foundation, is the Bareminerals BAREPRO, and that's what I have on today. I just tend to prefer using less of a more full coverage foundation than having to use more of a lighter or light to medium sheer foundation to build it up. So I really, really enjoyed this Bareminerals, and the finish, the color, everything about it has been just great, and it has not been too drying for my dry skin. So I have been loving this one in particular. Again, my shade is Flax 9.5. These 2 will have a place in my collection, but not probably as exclusively the only foundation that I will have on. When I'm wearing a lighter foundation, I do find that around my nose or around my chin is where I tend to have some foundation come off. This powder foundation and the stick foundation would be great for kind of giving a little added boost to those areas. They are very sheer and easy to work with. They pack on and they don't look cakey, but they do give you the coverage that you're wanting. So I definitely will be using these. I was shocked. For my dry skin, I was shocked that I was even able to tolerate wearing these for the day. And actually, I really enjoyed them. They do melt into the skin. Both of these kind of melt into the skin over time. And there is no cakiness or dryness. They really look nice. So I will be using these. And then finally, this one I just love for when you're having easy days. This tinted moisturizer is actually one of the best I've ever used. I'm not a big tinted moisturizer fan because, again, if I'm going to put something on my face, I want it to usually have some coverage. This gave me some really nice coverage. It was very natural, very healthy looking. This is perfect when you're just on the go and you want very minimal makeup. And lastly is the newest foundation. I really do like this one. It is very dewy, it is very luminous, and it gives a great effect to your skin. It is a little bit more sheer. That's why I think I prefer the BAREPRO, but I will be using this one quite a bit. I think in the summertime in particular, it just is a very, very healthy looking foundation with a little bit more coverage than the Complexion Rescue. So in conclusion, I really have enjoyed this. These Bareminerals foundations, you really cannot go wrong. They are excellent, and it's so nice that they have some clean ingredients that are really good for your skin. On almost all of their foundations, they say on the website that you could actually sleep in this foundation and it wouldn't harm your skin. That is wonderful. That just, not that you should ever sleep in your foundation, but it's nice to know that when you're putting that on your skin, it's actually doing your skin some good. I hope you enjoyed this. I would love for you to give this a thumbs up, subscribe, click that notification bell so that you'll be alerted anytime I post a new video. Hope you guys are having a great day.